Fenway finale, live on YouTube and X. The Red Sox won today's series finale by a score of 9-5, backed by Trevor Story and a great outing by Connelly Early. Guys, I know this was a disappointing beginning of the series, but at least it's a happy flight home. Give me your thoughts on today's game.
Yeah, overall, great win. I feel like this entire road trip was like a bag of Skittles. You're pulling out all the purple ones, all the grapes, and you're just getting like nasty flavors. And finally, you get to the bottom of the bag and you have a yellow Skittle, and it just makes the whole bag just that much better. So awesome stuff. Let's hope the Tigers and Yankees series yields more yellow and green Skittles than the nasty grape ones.
See, I like the grape Skittles. I guess I'll have to go opposite from that analogy.
Oh, you guys are nasty.
Bag in my mouth. I throw half the bag in my mouth at a time and eat them all. I don't taste the difference. They all taste the same to me at that point.
That's what we call a salad.
No, overall, today was good. A very disappointing and frustrating series. A lot to clean up. Positive today, sure, but overall, just concerns creeping back in from earlier in the season. But definitely enjoyed watching today. Watching Story break out early, shoved again, and nice to get a happy flight back home.
I'm very impressed with Connelly Early. It's the longest outing of his career. He went 6 innings today for the first time. I know I think it was his 8th career start, right? 4 last year, 4 this season.
Yeah.
He finally goes 6 innings. It was only 85 pitches today. He probably had another one in him. I was listening on the radio for the most part today, so I didn't really see as much of his stuff, but 85 pitches through 6 innings for a young guy like Connelly Early against an offense that just teed off on you in the last 2 games. I'm very impressed by that outing.
Absolutely. He had it all going today. He was very effective. I know the broadcast at one point after he started pulled up his overall numbers on the strikeouts. He had 5, 1 on the curveball, 1 on every pitch, 1 on the curveball, sinker, sweeper, 4-seamer, and changeup. He was mixing in everything efficiently and effectively. And it was kind of a bounce back start that he needed. Started off the season really well, had a rough last couple of starts, but he gave them length today, gave them some depth. With the off day coming up, was able to provide the bullpen some depth as well. Obviously got Whitlock in there. With him not throwing in a while, same deal with Chapman last night. But overall, the bullpen's in a good spot going into the off day, and then Detroit, New York coming to town.
Yeah, and Connelly Early allowing his first home run of his career too in the majors to Austin Martin. The first inning, once again, that one run felt like 10 for like a second.
I was gonna say when Martin hit that ball, I said, "Here we go again." Like
exactly.
It couldn't, we couldn't have a lead when that happened, and obviously it was his only blemish. But it just seemed like, come on now. Like,
thank God this game was during the workday.
Yeah, exactly.
So I do have 2 cool stats about today's game. Today was the first game the Red Sox fell behind and won. So it was their first come from behind win of the season. It's also the first game they won where Masataka Yoshida took an at bat. So 2 very weird things already, but the Masataka Yoshida thing, it's not his fault. Obviously he's performed well this season. It's just weird they haven't won a game where he's played. It is nice, though, that they finally had a come from behind win. I know it was only 1 run they were down, but at least it shows they could come back and not fall behind early, and instantly all the vibes are down. And it's just, that's kind of how this team's been playing. They go down and they're dead. They finally made a nice comeback today. I know it was a first inning home run, but it's nice to see that they're capable of coming back from a loss or a deficit.
The deficit, yeah.
I was going to say, I believe, is this the first win come from behind win? Come from behind was the first inning run, but there's been a stat for the last week or so about how we can't come back, and once we're in a deficit, once we lose that lead or at all, we can't come back from it. So it was great to break that habit.
Yeah, and they showed some resolve. They could have easily lost this game going down 1-0. And, the Twins obviously aren't. This is probably not going to continue right now, the most wins in the American League, and kind of folded and felt sorry for themselves. Thankfully, the Sox didn't do that, because if they want any hope of salvaging this thing going forward, they have to win today. They needed that more than we needed air. So it was nice to get back in the win column.
Totally agree. So I do want to talk about Trevor Story. He was obviously the MVP of today's game. Hit his 2nd home run of the season, had 5 RBIs. I do want to talk about his RBI total, which is kind of crazy how many RBIs he has for how low his OPS actually is. I think he's going to be out there and produce as many. I think he's going to be top of the league in RBIs this whole season. He's going to have somewhere 90 to.
Yeah. I mean, I think that was kind of a similar vibe to what you saw with Story last year. He had a much better April last year at this point. He had the game, I think April 17th against Chicago, where he went deep twice, had 6 RBIs, then really fell off till June 1st. So we'll see. Obviously a big thing with Story's health. Last year was his first fully healthy season in Boston in 4 years. So we'll see about that. But the OPS continues to climb. It's early in the season. We're 18 games into this thing. So, obviously need to keep seeing the average and the OPS climb for Trevor. But a very encouraging sign today. The great swing on the 3-run homer and the 2-run double. He laced that ball the opposite way. Great approach at the plate. So with him, it comes in bunches. I feel like when he's going bad, it's a 1-for-14 series, and when he's going good, you'll look up and it's 6 for 13 with 8 RBIs. Something like that. So he's kind of a perfect lightning bolt like that. And since he's gone down in the 5 spot, he has been that much better than hitting in the 2 spot. Keep him in that 5-6 spot all year. Let him eat with guys on base. Contreras will be hitting in front of him for the most part typically, and I think that's how it'll get him going.
Yeah, even today he was in the cleanup spot too, yep. and man, he demolished. I mean, to Nick's point too, he's currently sits 5th in all of baseball in RBIs with 17, and he only is behind number 1 by 3 RBIs. Right, he's only 3 off the lead, so that's a very small group there. Another 5 RBI game would be awesome, but it was great to see him too. Another important stat I want to bring up with Story today is that he had 5 hard hits, and that's registered with 95 plus mile an hour exit velocity too. Not hits, but just exit velo on some fouls and on swings. But overall, really encouraging sign. I do not want to see Story ever again bat in the 2-hole ever.
Yeah, I mean, looking at his Savant page, it's not great right now. There's a lot of blue on there, not much red. Granted, if you looked at it, through June 1st last year, you would have been looking at something very similar. So definitely want to see that tick up, but an encouraging sign today. And like you said, Nick, he's 5th in baseball in RBIs, average above 200 now. Would like to see a little bit, obviously went deep today. Overall, you'd like to see a little bit more power, given that this team just doesn't have a whole lot. And you're probably going to be relying on Story for another, 20 to 25 home run season. But definitely a step in the right direction today. Glad to see him get going, and hopefully he can catapult that going forward.
How'd you guys feel about the lineup, at least with Ceddanne Rafaela batting second today? Did you think that was a good idea? I know he's been hot. He had an off day yesterday. He's not your prototypical 2-hitter, but I like it better than Durbin.
I think Cora was trying to change something up because nothing has been working well recently. And sure, Durbin had a couple good games in St. Louis, but the consistency offensively, just top to bottom, wasn't there. And I think right now they're looking for anything to stick and work. And even if that's just a 1-game fix, if they could find it for this game and this matchup, that's what they were looking for. Getaway day, looking for something to get the team going, a spark. Setty's a spark in that sense. So, I don't think anything more to it than that. They still need to find a better solution. Durbin is not that answer in the 2 spot. That's for sure. It's not Story. It's not Ceddanne. Maybe it is Ceddanne. I don't know, but they got to find something. Yeah, exactly. It's probably Contreras, but then where does that's a whole nother list of questions, but yeah, it's probably Contreras.
Yeah, I love Ceddanne in the 2-hole. At first, I'm like, you give him the off day, and then you throw him in the 2-hole and kind of throw off his mojo. He just had that, I believe it was a 10-game hitting streak too. His average is up. Yeah, like, don't mess him up, right? If it's not broke, why fix it? He is that number 9 hitter in your lineup. It's a set and forget. If there's anyone on this roster that's a set and forget in the batting order, it's Ceddanne batting 9th.
Yeah,
I was afraid of seeing him at 2, but I gotta like him, man. I kind of like it, but I agree. He's a set and forget kind of guy. Put him back in that 9th spot. If you want to change it up for 1 game, fine. But
I was going to say, if you want to move him up to like 7, maybe to just try to get the line moving a little bit more, sure. But yeah, he's set and forget. Put him in that 9 spots where he's been thriving all season. That's where he got hot last year too.
Yeah.
As a game or two, I probably, if Contreras is not in the lineup, I think we'll see him in the 2-hole again on Friday. That's kind of how I see it. Yeah. If they have guys missing, I think that's the guy they put in the 2-hole going forward. To me, Durbin's just, this is going to suck, but I don't think Durbin's a major league player at this moment. I just don't think he's got the skill set to thrive in the major leagues this whole season. He's shown me nothing. He's really shown me obviously he could play defense. He's one of the better, he's got like the highest defense run save for third baseman. So that's going good for him. Just the Milwaukee Brewers put him in the best positions last year to succeed. And the Red Sox are not doing that. And I just don't think last year he was like a 100 WRC bat, like it was a league average kind of bat.
He was a 3-win player, finished 3rd in NL Rookie of the Year voting.
But what was his just offensive production? Because right now he's a glove first player. I think it was around 100, very league average bat. I think he regresses going forward. I think the Brewers put him in a very good position to succeed, and he's going to be a below average bat going forward. Um,
Yeah,
I don't know.
last
It
year
depends how bad he is. If we're gonna
he had a
keep him
he had
there,
a 110. No, sorry, he had a 105 WRC plus last year in
which is
Milwaukee.
slightly above average. I mean, if he does that again, I'd love it. But
Sure,
right now, he's got a
three
lot to make up to get to that again.
319 WOBA, 2.6 Fangraphs WAR, B WAR. I think he was at 3. I mean, I think Durbin. Obviously he started for the team that had the most wins in baseball last year. I think ultimately for Durbin, he's a very good role player. I think starting 145 games, 150 games a season probably doesn't best suit the team. He's got a role in the team. They just have to figure out where that's best suited. But it's not like Meyer's hitting. I think we all want Meyer to hit, but he hasn't been hitting. It's like they got to figure out what's going to work at second and third. Meyer's not really hitting right now. Durbin isn't hitting. You're not going to rely on Monasterio and IKF to fill those gaps. So they're going to have to do some matchmaking. Again, that do they get desperate at a certain point and want to get everyone in and put Rafael at second? That's a long-winded conversation, but it's like at some point they're going to have to do some matchmaking. What gets our best offense out there, because they just don't have the thump overall right now.
And when you know the thump, you need the top to bottom, everyone can hit kind of mentality,
Sure.
even if it is
Yeah.
small ball. And Connor Wong dropping down bunts, when you're up 6-0.
Yeah.
But Durbin, to go back to that point with Durbin, I believed in big time. I still kind of do. There's something in there. Third place in Rookie of the Year voting for the NL last year. There's something in there. That being said, we have to remember he was a 25-year-old rookie, right? There was a reason why he was in the minors for that long, right?
There's a reason why he was traded. That's
Exactly.
kind of what I'm getting at. If he was really, I mean, he obviously was third in Rookie of the Year voting, but the Brewers saw something in him and they gave up on him for a reason.
They saw Kyle Harrison. I don't think it was a Durbin. I think they saw Kyle Harrison.
I think Kyle Harrison was the guy they wanted, but
just like Priester.
Caleb Durbin is not the kind of player the Brewers just give up on. A guy under control who just finished third in Rookie of the Year. It's just weird that they gave up on him, who was under contract for cheap for many years of control. It's just not the kind of player the Brewers give up on very easily, and that just makes me concerned about him. And obviously, he hasn't had a great start to the season.
No, go ahead.
for it. Go for it, James.
No, I was going to say, I think he just ended up being redundant with Ortiz there. Like, because you have Turang. It's like, because I think when Durbin comes up, he's a second baseman, third baseman, whatever. Turang has become a star in the last couple of years. He really emerged, especially last year, won the Platinum Glove. Obviously, was great offensively, is off to an even better start this season and in the WBC. I think with Ortiz and Hamilton, they're kind of playing matchmaking at short and third. And I think Ortiz is a very similar profile to Durbin. And I think those guys in the same roster are pretty redundant because one's going to have to be on the bench. So, they obviously preferred Ortiz better. They got him from Baltimore, but they trade Durbin. But I think, in that case, they just, it's a redundant roster spot. You don't need both Ortiz and Durbin on the same roster.
What trade happened first? Was it the Freddie Peralta trade? That happened first, correct?
Yeah.
Before Caleb Durbin?
Yeah.
So,
Durbin got traded after we reported spring training.
You're right. So they got Jet Williams, who is a big-time middle infield prospect, for Freddie Peralta.
Yep.
So maybe that was a reason why they were okay with getting rid of Caleb Durbin. But right now, they're
going to boot
Jet
Jet
Williams
to
is
short
not in the major leagues. Yeah.
When he gets up there, Jet's going to play short, and they're going to slide Ortiz over to third.
I think Turang's the best defensive infielder on that team.
Oh,
Put him at
100%.
shortstop. That's just, if I was in charge, he'd be the shortstop of the Brewers. But obviously, he's one of the best second basemen in the league. And if second base position is worse than the shortstop position around the league, so it kind of just makes Turang look better if he stays in second.
That's true. Yeah, in comparison.
Do you guys got anything else from today's game? I know it was a day game that we couldn't watch much of, but tuning in and out of. I do have a comment I kind of want to make about Watson and Kelly. I think they're very redundant. They do the exact same thing in my mind. Right now, I think Watson's the guy that makes it through the year because he's the Rule 5 pick. But I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't last the season because they have a bunch of guys that could do the exact same thing. Doesn't throw a ton of strikes, doesn't get a ton of whiffs. He's just an okay back end or, low leverage reliever. And they're very redundant. They're missing a Justin Slayton.
Yeah, I mean, Watson has to remain on the roster for at least 90 days. So I think we're going to see him here till the All-Star break at minimum before they can stash him on the IL. I get what you're saying. Kelly is going to be a guy who goes up and down in terms of getting a fresh arm up here, getting someone who can give you length. Because, again, you see it in spurts with Kelly. It's just not consistent, and that's why he's not a major league pitcher, on the roster for all 162. But yeah, I mean that's the bullpen's not great. Like obviously you have Witt, you have Chapman. Slayton's on the IL, but aside from those guys, like it's not great. It's average. So I mean, it's tough when AC has a lot of guys who are redundant in that sense to work from. It's like, well, which guy you getting today? Because they're all the same in a vacuum. So it's like, do you get the good version of Zach Kelly or the bad version of Zach Kelly, or the good version of Watson, the bad version of Watson? Obviously today you're throwing Watson in there in a 9-1 game, save some bullets for other guys. It doesn't really matter. But I get what you're saying. It's like it's a lot of guys who are redundant out there and serve the same purpose. And that's kind of what the bullpen's made up of.
And we've said in the past too, these guys are just inning eaters. It's when we get blown out. It's when we're blowing out the other team 9-1.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
Throw them in there.
Yeah.
I'm surprised we even went to Whitlock or Danny, right? It's like you just throw him
Whit
out
just
there.
hadn't pitched in a while. I just think they wanted to get him in. Yeah, especially with the off day tomorrow.
Same as Chapman yesterday too. But again, all these guys are just eating innings. It's not there to shine or anything crazy like that.
Right.
James, do you have the Tiger matchups pulled up for next or on Friday?
I do.
I have TBDs.
I don't think the Tigers have officially announced it yet, but just going off of their previous schedule, we can map out the next 4. Yeah, because it's right now it's all TBDs. For the Sox, it's going to be Suarez, Bayo, Crochet, and then Sonny Gray in the Patriots Day game on Monday. So the Sox are sending, they're obviously Crochet. They're looking for a bounce back start, and they're, everyone except Early. So they're in a decent spot pitching wise. I believe Scooble is set to go on Saturday.
Yep.
With Detroit having him going on Sunday, and then Detroit having an off day. Then Scooble will go on Saturday. It'll be
Valdez on Sunday.
Valdez on Sunday, Casey Mize on Friday, and then Monday will be Jack Flaherty, who's pitching right now against Kansas City. So, obviously a tough matchup. You have two of the best lefties in baseball coming in Framber Valdez and Tarek Skubal. Casey Mize, former number 1 overall pick. He's had an up and down career with Detroit, made the All-Star team last year. And then Jack Flaherty, we know what he brings to the table. I feel like he's been rumored to go to the Sox at every trade deadline for the last 3 seasons, going against Sonny Gray on Patriots Day.
This is a weird series, in my opinion. We got some weird start times. Obviously, the Monday start time, same time every year. But we have 3 day games and then an Apple TV on Friday night. So it's a little bit of a weird series.
It might be the only series across Major League Baseball all year, every year, that has 4 games and 4 start times. Because every year this is the same deal. They always treat it as a wraparound series with a 7:00 Friday game or 7:15, 7:10, whatever time Apple TV or Fenway wants to do, and then 4:10 on Saturday, 1:35 on Sunday, and 11:10 on Monday. So it's interesting, and we're also going to get the 4 different jerseys, because we'll probably get the Green City Connects Friday, the yellow one Saturday, home whites on Sunday, and then the whites with Boston, the Boston Strong jerseys on Monday. So that's always unique too.
Those are good call-outs. I didn't even think about the start times and that's really cool.
They might wear the yellows also on Sunday because it's marathon weekend, so it might be 3 jerseys, but the point stands is that there's going to be a lot of variety this weekend, that's for sure. So
that uniform tracker is going to see a lot of updating over the weekend for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm still going to probably make a separate one for Monday's game, but
that's a special uniform.
Yeah.
Honestly, they should just wear those the entire marathon weekend. Like, I know it's a 1-game thing, but just wear them for the whole weekend. I don't think anybody would be upset about it. Fanatics and Nike already lets you wear it for Monday. I don't think they'd care about wearing it for the whole weekend. That's it. Like, just bring it back for the whole weekend.
You pitch it to ownership. You pitch it to ownership and just say, we sell these 2 in the store all weekend long. Come on. How do they say no?
They haven't sold those in years.
I think we get the yellows for 2. I think we get them Saturday.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, unfortunately.
There's a few things I do want to talk about this Tigers team. We're getting their best pitchers. The Kevin McGonigal extension that happened today is really, really
great extension.
Crazy. I think he's a wonderful player, but he just topped Connor Griffin and Roman Anthony, which I think is kind of wild.
That's the name of the game, though. It's leverage.
I really love the contract that he got. I didn't do much research on it, but he got a $14 million signing bonus. And every time he gets traded, no matter how many times he gets traded, he gets an extra $5 million every single time. So this dude could literally get traded at the deadline to like the Dodgers or something. He goes to the Dodgers and he gets $5 million on top of it. I mean, I love the contract for him. Great job by his agent. Good for the Tigers because I think this guy's going to be an absolute stud. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's their best hitter by June, like on the team, better than Riley.
He's going to
Green,
win AL Rookie of the Year.
I think he's a stud.
He's going to win.
Yeah.
McGonagall's the real deal. So 8 years, $150 million, and obviously that continues to escalate. With increased salaries. But yeah, like you said, Nick, I think that $5 million. I don't think Detroit's going to be trading McGonagall.
Not anytime soon, at least.
Correct.
But maybe at the end of it. But
no, he's still going to be so young. He's
I think
right
it's
now.
a great deal for the Tigers. I'm excited to see him firsthand for the first time.
Yeah,
I'm excited for this series.
311 with a 417 on base percentage. And has an OPS of 909. So he's been tremendous. He's the real deal. And he's a future cornerstone for Detroit.
Yeah, I think he's a guy that can bat 280 to 300 every single year, 25 home runs. I think he could be a star for the next 10 to 15 years. I think
he's going to get on base. He's going to get on base at such a high clip. Probably a little less power than Anthony, but the on base skills are going to be right on par with him, and a better defender at shortstop.
Yeah, he's going to be able to stick at shortstop, which I think was a question at one point, but I think he'll stick there.
Yeah, might move him over to second. I mean, his OAA is -2 right now, so might end up sliding over to second at some point. But yeah, overall, love the player, and good for Detroit for getting him locked up. Now they still got to focus on paying Skubal, but that's another conversation.
I love seeing these teams lock up. It's such a young talent, at least in the field. And James, like you said, if they can lock down Skubal too, it's just like what the Pirates did with Skeens and with Connor Griffin. It's like those are the two pieces. If you get a good pitcher and a good hitter, it's like those are that's the foundation to build off of. And it's just it's great to see like other, I don't want to say small market, or it's not the Yankees, it's not the Dodgers, it's not the same old teams doing it this year. And I love seeing that. The Brewers did that with Cooper Pratt too. Seattle did that with Colt Emerson, right? I love seeing that. That excites me for the future of the game for sure.
Yeah, everyone's taking the Braves model, which is the right model to take, and obviously they did it with everyone. Strider, Harris, you name it. The Sox did it with Anthony, with Campbell. It's like you're not going to hit on every one of these deals, but to hit on a couple, you have to do it more and more, and it's so worth it because they really aren't crippling to the team. The Bayo extension, the Rafaela extension, those are peanuts right now. When you think about their value, locking up those free agent years at the prices that they're at.
But even at the caliber of Connor Griffin, Roman, all these guys too, it's like the money there to like, it's just, it makes so much sense on both sides.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's like people are saying they're leaving so much on the table. Like, A, you'll still get to be a free agent at 29, 30 years old, whatever, maybe 31, depending on your age and whatever. B, if you blow your knee out tomorrow, you get hit in the head with a fastball, you're going to the bank with 130 million, 140 million. Like, it's guaranteed money. And instead of making the minimum next year, you're going to be making 3 million. Then instead of making the minimum again, you're going to be making 5 million. Then an ARB1, instead of making 4 million, you'll be making 12 million. It's like, there's a reason why maybe they lose a couple free agent years. So they lose, a 45 million AAV for a $28 million AAV. Whoop-de-doo.
I'll take that all day.
Exactly.
I think there's, at this point, they're just win-win situations unless the guy just completely flames out and never plays baseball again. Like Kevin McGonigal has such a high floor to me that this is going to work out no matter what. Yeah.
And it's like, look, baseball's a hard game. Campbell still has plenty of time to work out because I know there's Red Sox fans wondering about Christian Campbell. It's like it's a hard game. Look at Jordan Walker right now. There's plenty of time to get this thing to work out, and the message will be not the message. The contract will be worth it if he just has one above average all-star caliber season.
Until it doesn't work, keep doing it.
That's right. One note I did want to take into both Bayo and Suarez's starts. First with Bayo, since he's going to be going tomorrow. He's first with Suarez since he's going to be going on Friday.
Yep.
His sinker usage was way up last time. I know we talked about it after his last start, but his sinker in his previous start against San Diego was thrown just 16% of the time. It jumped to 46.4% in his last start. The changeup was his second most used pitch at 17.9. The cutter had been his most used pitch in his first start at 31%. Last start, it was all the way down to just over 10% at 10.7. Obviously, we know Andrew Bailey loves to throw the cutter. He seems to be adjusting to Suarez's strengths. So I want to see how that kind of evolves against this Tigers lineup. And the same deal with Bayo. The sinker was used over 50% of the time in his last start, 52.1%. The cutter was the second most used pitch at 23.4%. I'd like to see Bayo mix in the four-seam fastball a little bit more, just over 1% last time, because I think when he is throwing that fastball, the changeup is able to be a little bit more effective. Obviously, we've talked about the lack of difference in velocity when it comes between the changeup and the fastball, but I think when you don't have a fastball and you're not throwing it, guys can just sit on the changeup, and that makes it even less effective. Like, it's better to have a fastball, keep it in the back of their head, dot it, throw it 5% of the time, mix it in 0-0. If you get down 2-0, let the guy stat you and watch it down the middle, whatever it may be. But that is something I'm interested to see. Like, do they continue to throw the sinker at such a high rate? Was that a matchup thing in their last matchup? Obviously it's both of their strengths, and Bailey, his strength is utilizing guys' cutter. So we'll see how that goes in. And I also had a note on Crochet with his cutter usage and overall just not being as effective with it thus far this year. And obviously we saw that in his last start, which wasn't great, obviously historically bad. But Justin Havens had it on Twitter. His whiff rate on his cutter, Crochet, was in 2024, 33.4% out of 683 cutters thrown. Last season, his first season in Boston, the whiff rate was down to 24.3%, 874 were thrown. This year, he's already thrown 107 cutters and only an 18% whiff rate. So I think Crochet's cutter is more effective the less he throws it, and that's going to be something that I'd like to see Bailey adjust, not only in this start, but just going forward in general. Because if you want to make one of his best pitches most effective, don't throw it as much. The more guys see it, the less effective it will be, and the worse it'll be for the Sox.
I do have one comment. If Andrew Bailey changes back to the cutter, leading with a cutter with those two pitchers, Ranger Suarez and Brian Bayo, he's a moron. Because
and Crochet,
especially Brian,
yeah,
these guys are historically sinker ball pitchers, and they thrive last outing leading with the sinker. And the difference between Suarez from what was it, like 16% to 41%, that is insane gap. That is an insane gap. And it obviously the results were insanely different too. You have to go back and lead with that sinker for both those pitchers.
Crochet,
I think it's a little bit different.
It was 38. Granted, Monday was a small sample size, still 38.2%, and the sinker was 27.3%. So, and the cutter usage in the start against Milwaukee was at 28%. So it jumped 10%. Obviously, he threw fewer pitches, so it's a smaller sample size, but still, it's something that you'd like to see him get down to below, probably around the 25% mark. I think if he's throwing it a quarter of the time, that's probably the perfect range. You don't want to get back to using it too much, because you saw how effective it was in that first start against Cincinnati. He went to it every single time he needed a big pitch, when he needed to get when he had that strikeout of Suarez to get out of that bases loaded jam. You'd like to see him use a little bit less.
With Crochet, with me, I like the four-seam fastball the best. I know it's been down a little bit, but that's his pitch. I like to lead with a four-seam fastball near 40 to 50%, maybe even. That's his best pitch. I needs to get back to how it was in the middle of last season. With Brian Bayo and Ranger Suarez, it's the sinker. You're looking for ground balls. But with Garrett Crochet, you're looking to punch out guys, and you want swings and misses. It's that fastball up in the zone. It's that sweeper. And then I'd like to see a little bit more changeups, at least to the right-handed hitters. I know he faces almost only righties, exclusively. They don't put many lefties in the lineup when he pitches. But yeah, I kind of like to change up a little bit more.
Looking at his usage last year, he threw the changeup just 4.3% of the time. The fastball was just above 35%. I think that's probably the ideal range for everything, just getting him back in sync with what the guy that he was last year. He kind of reminds me of Sale a little bit earlier in the season. The first few starts, he builds up that velocity. And I know he's hit 98, 97, whatever it may be, but not, consistently last summer. That's, he's touching that, every single four-seamer. I think he reminds me of Sale a little bit, not just coming over from the White Sox, but saving up a little bit in the tank. Then when you get going with the weather warmer as the calendar flips to May, boom, here we go. You're seeing 97, 98, every single four-seamer from the first pitch to pitch 100.
And given his last start in this Twins series too, it's like you just have to bounce back. I don't think that they're going to be trying to mix and match and try to go with funky stuff. Just go in there, do what he does best, and dominate using that velocity and shut down this lineup. They had the third best run differential in the American League. Just go out there and just dominate like he does. I think this is going to be a reset game of sorts for Crochet. I just hope he goes out there and just obviously dominates, just bouncing back from his last start there.
You guys want to do predictions for this 4-game series? I know what I'm going to go with, but
Sure.
I,
So
Yeah.
Detroit comes into this one at 8-9. They're looking to get going too. Obviously, the Central's been better, I think, than they anticipated right now. I'm going with a 4-game split. I think the two teams battle it out. Both teams that are still working through it, both teams that came into the season, they thought they were going to be better, especially the Red Sox. The Tigers have been picking it up as of late. I think the two teams split a 4-game series.
Yeah, I agree. I think we did the bookend games. Mize, rocky career so far. Suarez coming off his best start of the season. I think he continues that momentum at Fenway. It's on Apple TV Friday night, right? Like the momentum's there for him. And then Saturday, obviously against Skubal, that's like, I don't want to say it's like a loss, but that's gonna be a tough battle. And same with Sunday too. It's like after Crochet's start, you have no idea what we're gonna see.
They did touch him up for 5 in Detroit last year. They ended up losing that game.
Skubal, man.
I agree with you. I'm just saying, like,
it can be done. It can be done.
They did it last year, but
it can be done, and let's hope it gets done. But sure. But Sunday, man, like Sunday's the game I have circled on my calendar too. Valdez, one of the best lefty pitchers, like we've already mentioned. Him going against Crochet, that's just gonna be another battle of the Titans. It's gonna be like that Crochet versus Mizorowski game we saw in that Brewer series. It's gonna be like just awesome to watch on both sides. That one can go either way for me. But then I see us taking that game against Flaherty on Monday, Marathon Monday. Obviously, Marathon Monday, the vibes are there. It's 11 o'clock start. And we have Gray on the mound who loves pitching at Fenway too. So give us 2 wins.
I guess I'll be the positive one and go 3. We're gonna lose to Skubal. That's just the given in my opinion. If we beat Skubal, we'll probably lose the other 3. Just as how it works for the Red Sox this season. So
yes,
I'm gonna go with 3-1, and I hope that's how it works out. You lose to Skubal and you win the other 3. I'm banking on Garrett Crochet coming back and pitching well, but I am very scared there might be something wrong mechanic wise, and he hasn't figured it out yet. And Framber Valdez seems like a guy that can come to Boston, just shut us down as well. So if anything, I'm going to go 3-1. There's a very good chance it's a split, like you guys said. But yeah, that's kind of my reasoning. If they beat Skubal, they lose the other 3. If they lose the Skubal, they got a better chance to win the other 3. I don't know.
Let's hope Framber doesn't have any sticky stuff like he did in 21 LDS.
I knew we couldn't mention Valdez without mentioning that too.
The streets don't forget.
Of course not. I think something fun that I'll continue to do is set our floor.
The LCS, excuse me, not the LDS. Yeah.
Correct. I like setting our floor for each series in terms of record too. If we go in and we get swept by the Tigers, it's like that's going to be disastrous. I said that going into the last 2 road series. If we leave with anything less than 4-2, it should be looked at as a negative.
Overall, the road trip wasn't a good road trip.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Everyone goes 3-3.
I'm agreeing with you. Yeah,
right. Exactly. So I think with this Tiger series and the Yankee series coming up too, at least for the Tiger series with 4 games, anything less that if we get swept, like right, even 1-3, I'll take. But realistically, anything worse than 2-2, I'm gonna not be a fan of.
Yeah, I mean, it's as crazy as it is to say the Red Sox are only 3 games back of the division, and they haven't played an AL East opponent yet, and it's like. Yeah, when New York starts coming in, then you play Baltimore, the division games start racking up, the schedule starts getting harder. It's like, it's a miracle they're only 3 games back right now. Nobody's taking advantage and off to a hot start, and you're not 5, 6, 7 games back.
Yeah, I agree with you guys, though, on the 2-2. Anything worse, it's a disaster. This team's good. The Tigers are good. They're not amazing. Offensively, I think we could compete with that team. Unfortunately, you're going to run into Skubal and Valdez, so there is a chance that they just shove it up your butts and then.
Yeah, and now Riley Green, he made the All-Star team the last 2 years. He's a tremendous player. He's gotten off to a slower start. Watch him turn into prime Barry Bonds this weekend. I mean, and Green has to get going. He's going to get going, but he has a great opposite field approach. He's going to use the monster to his advantage. That's just how it works. That's how the season's going. Torkelson's probably going to turn into McGuire, using the monster to his advantage. Green with a great opposite field approach. McGonagall's going to do his thing, and yeah.
And Javi Baez too. We haven't mentioned him yet.
What a resurgence the last 2 years.
In center field. He started the All-Star game last year in center field. That's crazy on so many levels, but he's one of those players I have circled. I'm like, that's going to be exciting to watch this series. Just as a baseball fan, got to love Javi Baez.
Baez this year up to 293, 757 OPS, has that 1 homer on that low and away slider that he has swung and missed at probably 2,000 times in his career. He finally hit it out last Friday against Miami. So that good for Javi, but yeah, great career resurgence, and he's The range that he has in center field is incredible. I mean, what did it take teams 12 years to finally figure out that he could play center?
And he was a great shortstop too. It's like whoever thought of that was.
Absolutely, that's the thing.
Yeah, it must have been raced out of town with the pitchforks, but now it worked out for the Tigers too.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I don't have much else for, today's game. Anything from today that you want to mention? I am very happy they salvaged this game. A sweep in Minnesota would have been horrendous.
I will mention a fun stat too. The Red Sox this year are 7-0 when their pitchers have a quality start and register a quality start. And when they do not register a quality start, we're 0-11. So it kind of tells you the dependency on starting pitching. We have, the top of our starting rotation coming up here in Detroit, like against Detroit at home. Let's see them register those quality starts and bring home those W's.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all that they obviously built their team around pitching, and I'm all for that. But I still think, like, if you build your team around pitching, you need to have at least somewhat of an average offense, and the offense has just been below average. So for me, the biggest thing, not just with today, but with the road trip, is get the offense going, get back to what you're doing at the end of the St. Louis series. Manufacture runs any way you can. You're obviously, if you're going to be down Contreras for a game or two, more, we'll see, but obviously need to keep the offense up. Some encouraging signs from guys this series. I thought Roman had a really good series in terms of just the quality of contact. 2 more hits today. He was on base 8 times this series. Story was obviously great. Have to keep that going. Hopefully the double off day for Abreu really helps him get back on track again.
I also do want to make sure that we do shout out Monasterio too. 3 hits today. Yep. I think a great series, minus that wacky challenge yesterday. But besides that, again,
and that was karma with the Twins challenging that ball on him today. Called a strike, but then the next pitch he roped it out into right center for a double. So,
yeah, if Contreras is down for more than just the off game tomorrow, I would love to see Monasterio really step in and fill that role.
Yep.
I agree. I'm okay with Monasterio at third a little bit more as well. I just hope Wilson Contreras is back in the lineup Friday and never misses another game, because he is the most important bat right now. You need that right-handed bat that can actually hit the ball out of the lineup, out of the park, because besides Trevor Story, there's not another right-handed hitter in this lineup that can leave the ballpark consistently.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't got much else, guys. So if that's it, we can wrap it up. Unfortunately, it was a pretty bad series in Minnesota. The Twins kind of came out and just hit the crap out of the ball. But I'm excited for this Tigers series. These are 2 teams that were expected to go to the postseason. For the most part, most people expected both these teams to make the playoffs. So I'm excited to see the Red Sox finally play a good American League team and see how they match up against them. I just hope they can take at least 2. 3 would be nice. But yeah, those are my final thoughts from today's game and the next series coming up. Guys, thank you for watching. This episode will be out there on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts coming soon. And thanks for watching. We'll be back on Friday, possibly Friday.